Buckingham Palace bracing for Harry and Meghan's interview tonight. She was the actress who became a duchess, and the world couldn't look away. But behind the royal fairy tale, darker chapters were unfolding. Was Harry's love story ever truly real? Or was it written long before he ever met her? And what hidden world did that small Soho house bag open the door to? 3 weeks after that yacht photo shattered his heart, Harry looked at it again, and this time he froze. In the corner of the image sat a navy blue bag with golden letters. Soho House. This wasn't just any yacht. It was connected to the same elite circle where Meghan had spent years, the same place where she met Marcus Anderson, her influential friend, who later stood front row at their royal wedding. But now Harry began to realize this wasn't just friendship. It was an entire network quietly shaping his life from the very beginning. He started digging through files, old photos, and name lists. Every clue pointed to a hidden plan, something far bigger than coincidence. What Harry uncovered next made him question his love, his loyalty, and perhaps his entire royal destiny. This wasn't just a secret. It was the story of how power can disguise itself as love, and how one discovery can change everything. Stay with us, because what comes next will not only shake Harry's world, but could shake the entire monarchy to its core. The discovery that changed everything. Harry's hands shook as he opened his laptop. He typed slowly. Soho House, Marcus Anderson, Meghan Markle. What came back made his blood run cold. Marcus wasn't just some friend from Toronto. He was a consultant for Soho House International. But according to blogs and deleted articles Harry found online, Marcus had a very specific job. He connected beautiful, ambitious women with wealthy, powerful men. He made introductions. He gave them access. He built bridges between worlds that normally didn't touch. One old article from Toronto Life in 2014 called him the man who knows everyone worth knowing and makes sure the right people meet. Harry read it 5 times. He'd always thought Marcus was just Meghan's fun friend. But what if Marcus had been managing her? What if every yacht, every party, every appearance had been planned? The possibility made Harry feel physically sick, but he couldn't stop himself from digging deeper into this rabbit hole. Harry started searching for photos of Meghan at Soho House locations worldwide. What he found in the next 6 hours rewrote everything he thought he knew about their relationship. There she was at Soho House Istanbul in November 2015. She wore a dress that cost more than her monthly salary from that TV show. She was surrounded by British and European businessmen. One looked disturbingly familiar. Harry zoomed in, and his heart stopped. Sir Nicholas Hathaway, a polo club owner who donated $50,000 to Harry's charity in 2016. In the photo, he had his arm around Meghan's waist. This was a full year before she supposedly knew anything about Harry's world. Then Harry found another one, Soho House, Barcelona, summer 2014. Meghan at a rooftop party with 2 men Harry recognized from his own polo circuit. He'd played against them multiple times. Prince Harry is back on the horse and winning big. On Thursday, the Duke of Sussex took the field to play at the 2022 Centali Isps Honda Polo Cup. They'd been at matches Harry attended, and here was Meghan 2 years before their blind date, already embedded in his social circle. Harry pulled up his charity donor lists and matched them with faces in Meghan's old Soho House photos. The overlap was staggering. 8 different men who later donated to Harry's causes had been photographed with Meghan at Soho House events between 2014 and 2016. She hadn't randomly entered his world through some chance encounter. She'd been circling it for years, getting close to his friends, his colleagues, his network, learning the landscape, and understanding how this world operated. One photo showed her at a 2014 polo party in England. Harry hadn't been there, but 5 of his closest friends had attended. She was already there, shaking hands, making connections, building relationships. These weren't coincidences piling up. This was careful preparation. Someone had been teaching her how to navigate these exclusive circles, and Harry was beginning to understand exactly who that someone was. Marcus Anderson's secret network. Harry became obsessed with understanding Marcus Anderson's real role in all of this. Late one night, unable to sleep, he called a former Soho House member he'd known from his London party days. Someone who'd been inside that scene and might tell him the truth. The conversation lasted 40 minutes. When it ended, Harry sat in silence for an hour, trying to process everything. His friend had been brutally honest. Marcus ran what people quietly called a finishing school. He found beautiful women with ambition and gave them access to Soho House's global network. He taught them how to dress for these events, how to talk with wealthy people, how to move through rooms filled with power without looking out of place, and most importantly, he introduced them to men who could change their lives forever. Actresses met producers who could advance their careers. Models met investors with deep pockets. Ambitious women met royalty. The friend explained that Marcus had connections everywhere that mattered. He knew Harry's polo friends personally. He attended charity events in the same circles as the royal family. He had access to schedules, to information about where certain people would be and when. Harry felt sick to his stomach. If Marcus knew Harry's schedule, his interests, his charity work, his friends, whatever the outcome of the big family discussions, which now roll on into the weekend, there's one charity Prince Harry will continue to support, whatever is decided about his future role. Then he could position someone perfectly in Harry's path. He could create meetings that felt random, but were actually planned months in advance. He could make fate seem real when it was just strategy. Harry pulled up Marcus' social media going back years. There he was at a polo match in 2013, at a charity gala in 2014, where Harry had been photographed at Soho House, London events where Harry's friends appeared in backgrounds. Marcus had complete access to Harry's world long before Meghan entered it. And if Marcus knew Harry's calendar, his habits, what he valued, what kind of woman would catch his attention, then he could position someone perfectly. He could study Harry from a distance and prepare the perfect approach. Marcus had access to Harry's schedule before Meghan ever said his name. And suddenly, their whole love story looked less like destiny and more like a carefully executed business plan. The money that didn't add up. The next question haunted Harry constantly. How did Meghan afford all this? Soho House memberships weren't cheap, especially not the international level. The international membership that gave access to locations worldwide cost over $1,500 yearly in 2015. Add travel between Toronto, London, Istanbul, Barcelona, and Miami, plus designer clothes at every event, and the math simply didn't work. Harry knew exactly what Meghan earned on her TV show, around $50,000 per season before taxes. It wasn't enough. Not even close. Through a contact at Soho House Toronto, Harry learned something that made his skin crawl. Meghan's membership had been completely paid for by someone else. She never paid a single fee in 5 years of global access. When Harry asked who sponsored her, The contact went very quiet. Then carefully said Marcus had ways of making sure certain women had access to the network. The fees were handled through corporate accounts. Nobody asked questions because asking questions wasn't done. So Meghan hadn't been paying her own way through this elite world. Someone had been investing in her, funding her access to these exclusive spaces, bankrolling her complete transformation from cable actress to global socialite who moved comfortably among royalty. Harry started adding up expenses in his head. Flights to Europe every few months, designer wardrobes that changed with seasons. 5-star hotels during Yacht Week, Soho House memberships across 4 continents. He estimated it cost at least $70 to $80 yearly to maintain the lifestyle. Meghan lived between 2014 and 2016 on a declared salary of $50,000. The numbers screamed at him with a truth he'd been too in love to see. She'd been subsidized, prepared, funded like an investment expected to pay returns. And when Harry discovered who paid for it all, everything clicked into place. Marcus wasn't just introducing Meghan to wealthy men for fun. He was funding her, preparing her, positioning her like a chess piece across 3 continents. And Harry had been the king she was aiming for all along. The realization was devastating, but Harry couldn't stop digging now. The wedding that was really a network reunion. One morning, Harry did something he hadn't done since the wedding itself. He pulled out the official guest list. All 600 names are carefully organized. He'd never really looked at Meghan's side closely before. He trusted her completely, assumed she'd invited people who mattered most in her life. Now, he went through it with a highlighter and a list of Soho House members he'd compiled. What he found made him feel like the biggest fool. Marcus Anderson, seated front row. Jessica Mulron, Soho House regular and Marcus frequent companion. Meghan Markle's former best pal has broken her silence. Weeks after the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's bombshell documentary dropped, Jessica Mulron, Misha Nanu, who supposedly arranged their blind date, also a Soho House member. Serena Williams, Soho House member. The list continued. Out of 200 guests on Meghan's side, over 60 were directly connected to Soho House. Either members themselves, frequent attendees, or people photographed at Soho House events with Meghan before 2016. His royal wedding hadn't been a beautiful mix of her childhood friends and Hollywood colleagues. It had been a reunion of her Soho House network, the people who'd watched her workrooms in Toronto and London for years, the ones who'd witnessed her climb and understood exactly what they were seeing. Harry looked specifically at the Toronto guests, 8 people from Canada who'd traveled for the wedding. He searched their names with Soho House Toronto. Every single one appeared in photos from events between 2013 and 2016. These weren't random friends from her TV show days. These were her colleagues in strategic networking, people who'd been part of the same carefully planned circuit she'd navigated. He found a photo from their wedding reception, and he'd never studied closely. Marcus Anderson standing with 4 other Soho House executives, all holding champagne, all looking extremely comfortable and satisfied, like they were celebrating something bigger than a friend's wedding, like they were celebrating a mission accomplished. Harry's hands clenched into fists. His wedding wasn't a celebration of love and commitment. It was a networking summit. Every carefully chosen guest had been part of Meghan's calculated rise through elite society, and he'd been too blinded by emotion to see any of it happening right in front of him. The brothers' warning he ignored. Late one night, Harry remembered something buried deep in his mind for years. before he proposed, William had left him a voicemail. Harry listened to maybe 30 seconds before hanging up, absolutely furious at what he thought was jealousy and outdated thinking. Now he scrolled through his voicemail archives, searching. It took 20 minutes, but he found it. November 2017. Saved but never fully heard. Harry pressed play. William's voice filled the room, serious, careful, almost begging. "Harry, I need you to listen to me. Palace security ran a background check. Meghan has been part of the Soho House crowd for years. Marcus Anderson's reputation is well known in those circles. He positions women. This isn't about her acting career. She's been photographed with men in your orbit going back to 2014. This woman has been positioned in your path. I'm not saying she doesn't care about you, but you need to know what you're walking into. Call me back, please." Harry's vision blurred with tears he refused to let fall. He replayed it. Then again, his brother hadn't been jealous or racist or protecting outdated traditions. William had received real intelligence from trained palace security professionals about the Soho House network and Meghan's role in it, and Harry had ignored him completely. Worse than that, he'd attacked William for it, called him a liar and a bigot, accused him of trying to sabotage the only real happiness Harry had ever found. Harry scrolled further and found 2 more voicemails from William in the weeks before the engagement, each one more desperate than the last. Security found photos of her at events where your friends were present years before you met. This isn't random coincidence, Harry. Marcus Anderson has connections to people who have donated to your charities. Please just look into this properly before you propose. I'm begging you, brother." Harry had deleted those voicemails without fully listening. He'd been so consumed by what he thought was love, so convinced everyone was conspiring to destroy his chance at happiness. But William hadn't been conspiring. He'd seen the pattern clearly, the network, the strategy, the careful positioning over years. And he'd tried desperately to save Harry from walking into something that would eventually destroy him. But Harry chose Meghan's version instead, the version where she was innocent and everyone else was racist or jealous. The confrontation that confirmed everything's. The voicemails broke something fundamental inside Harry. For days afterward, he didn't speak to Meghan at all. He moved through the house like a ghost, physically present, but emotionally completely absent. When she finally cornered him in the kitchen, demanding to know what was wrong, he asked the only question that mattered anymore. "Are you still in contact with Marcus Anderson?" Meghan's face changed instantly. The warmth vanished completely. "Why are you asking me that?" Harry's voice shook. "Just answer. Do you still talk to Marcus?" She crossed her arms defensively. "He's my friend, Harry. Of course, I talk to him occasionally." Harry stepped closer, barely containing his rage. "How often? Once a month? Once a week, every day?" Her eyes narrowed dangerously. "What is this really about?" Harry's voice cracked. "I found the Soho House photos, Istanbul, Barcelona, London. I found the guest list from our wedding. I listened to William's voicemails that I ignored for years. I know Marcus positioned you. I know you were circling my world for years before we met, so I'm asking you directly. Are you still working with Marcus? Is he still advising you on strategy?" Meghan's face flushed with anger. "You sound absolutely insane. Marcus is a friend. He introduced me to people because that's what friends do in business." Harry begged her, "Don't lie to me anymore. I know what Marcus does. I know your membership was paid for by others. I know you were at polo parties with my friends 2 years before our blind date. Stop pretending this was some magical fairy tale." Tell me the truth. Do you still talk to Marcus about strategy, about what comes next? She refused to answer his question, just stared at him with an expression Harry had never seen on her face before. Cold, calculating, completely detached from any emotion. And in that heavy silence, Harry finally got his answer. She wasn't going to deny it because she couldn't. Marcus was still very much in the picture, still advising her, still working angles and planning moves. The only question left was what those angles were aimed at now, and whether Harry was still part of the plan or just a stepping stone to something bigger. Marriage built on strategic deception. Now Harry lives trapped in a nightmare of his own making. Staff members report that he spends hours tracking Meghan's schedule with an obsession that worries everyone around him. Every business meeting gets interrogated. Who will be there? Have you worked with them before? Did Marcus introduce you? He's checked her phone twice more and found encrypted messaging apps he can't access without passwords. When he demanded those passwords, Meghan told him he was becoming paranoid and needed therapy. Maybe she's right. Maybe he does need help, but paranoia implies the threat isn't real, and Harry knows better now. The Soho House network wasn't just Meghan's past. It was the foundation of everything she'd built, including him. He lies awake at night wondering if he was ever actually the goal or just the most successful rung on a ladder that's still climbing towards something he can't see yet. The canvas bag in that yacht photograph changed everything. One small detail that unraveled years of carefully constructed story. Harry thought he'd married for love. Now he's not sure what he married. A network, a strategy, a long game that's still playing out. The worst part isn't the discovery. It's knowing that William tried to save him, and Harry destroyed that relationship defending a woman who'd been playing a part all along. Now, the silence in their Montecito mansion feels heavier than ever. Conversations end mid-sentence. Eyes avoid each other, and even Archie has begun asking why Daddy looks sad. Harry walks through the house like a ghost of his former self, haunted not by what he's lost, but by the growing suspicion that the story of his life was never really his to begin with. If this story opened your eyes to how calculated some relationships in the elite world can be, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We bring you the truth behind the headlines that the mainstream media won't touch. Drop a comment below telling us what you think about Marcus Anderson's role in all of this. Was Meghan positioned, or is Harry seeing patterns that aren't there? The evidence speaks for itself, but we want to hear your take. And if you found this investigation shocking, wait until you see what we uncover next. Trust us, you won't want to miss it. Hit that notification bell so you're first to know when we drop our next explosive story. Thanks for watching, and remember, the truth is always more complicated than the fairy tale they sell you. Because behind every royal smile, there's a strategy. Behind every photograph, a purpose. The palace plays chess, not checkers. And every move has consequences. What's coming next could change how you see the monarchy forever. Stay curious, stay critical, and never take the CR. Their emotional connection was clearly fading. Public appearances were marked by a lack of warmth, and the media, once captivated by their romance, began speculating about infidelity, mental health struggles, and a potential separation. In December 1992, Prime Minister John Major officially announced their separation. It is announced from Buckingham Palace that with regret, the Prince and Princess of Wales have decided to separate, confirming what many had already suspected. Their divorce was finalized in August 1996, marking the end of their highly publicized union. By this time, Diana had fully embraced her humanitarian role, using her influence to champion causes like landmine removal and AIDS awareness. Despite her personal struggles, her impact grew stronger. For Charles, the separation allowed him to pursue his relationship with Camilla more openly, but it also meant facing the challenge of repairing his public image, which had been damaged by the fallout from his marriage. Charles and Camilla's love story began in the early 1970s, when their connection was immediate and undeniable. Camilla's wit, confidence, and charm deeply appealed to Charles. However, their romance was interrupted when Charles joined the Navy, and during his absence, Camilla married Andrew Parker B.S. Yet, even after her marriage, their bond remained, quietly persisting in the background and evolving into one of the most controversial love stories in royal history. Charles and Camilla's relationship became widely known during his marriage to Diana. The media uncovered their affair, which Diana later confirmed in her famous 1995 BBC interview. She openly stated, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." This shocking admission sent waves through the monarchy and the public, leaving many questioning how a prince could betray the beloved Diana. After Diana's tragic passing in 1997, Charles and Camilla slowly began making their relationship public. In 2005, after years of scrutiny and challenges, they married in a modest civil ceremony followed by a religious blessing. The wedding was a stark contrast to Charles's first grand royal wedding. Even Queen Elizabeth Roman, too, did not attend the civil ceremony, subtly reflecting the royal family's complicated feelings about the union. For Prince William and Prince Harry, this marriage marked a new phase in their father's life. While William appeared more accepting, Harry struggled to come to terms with Camilla's presence. In his memoir, Spare, Harry expressed mixed emotions about the marriage, admitting he feared Camilla's arrival might push him and William further away from their father. Harry's claimed that both he and his brother William begged their father not to marry Camilla, fearing she would become their wicked stepmother. He described the marriage as bittersweet, recognizing her role in Charles's happiness, but mourning the family dynamic he once knew. Harry also shared his belief that Camilla worked to improve her public image by manipulating the media, even at his expense. He claimed she leaked negative stories about him to the press, seeing it as a calculated effort to secure her position within the royal family. For Harry, these actions felt like a betrayal of trust and deepened the tensions within the family. His concerns weren't only about media manipulation, but about how these actions impacted their already fragile relationships. Harry admitted that he feared losing his father entirely to Camilla. He openly wrote about feeling that her presence in Charles's life shifted his focus, leaving less room for his sons. Despite these feelings, Harry also showed some understanding toward Camilla. He recognized that her role in his parents' marriage was complicated, and she too had faced public judgment. This more balanced perspective reflected the mix of resentment and understanding that Harry felt. The separation of Charles and Diana in 1992 shocked the world. For over 10 years, their marriage had been constantly criticized and closely watched. What had started as a fairy tale romance between the young, beautiful Diana and the future king eventually fell apart due to infidelity, conflicting personalities, and the relentless pressure from the public. By the time their divorce was finalized in 1996, the cracks in their relationship were too obvious to ignore. Charles's affair with Camilla was well known, and Diana's struggles with mental health, including postpartum depression and bulimia, were openly discussed. Both had their own sides of the story, but it was clear that their marriage was beyond repair. For William and Harry, the divorce meant they had to adjust to a life divided between two homes. Weekends were spent moving between Charles's and Diana's houses, each with its own set of rules, routines, and emotional complexities. Harry later shared that the divorce was one of the toughest times of his youth. He felt torn between his loyalty to both parents and often found himself caught in the middle of their strained relationship. At times, he and William felt like pawns being fought over in their parents' ongoing battle. Princess Diana was deeply committed to ensuring that her sons William and Harry always felt loved, supported, and grounded. She made a real effort to create a sense of normalcy for them away from the often overwhelming world of royalty. Diana took her boys to places like amusement parks, fast food restaurants, and even homeless shelters, allowing them to experience a wide range of life's realities. She wanted them to understand that there was a world outside the palace, one that wasn't defined by wealth, status, or royal duty. In contrast, Charles, while also dedicated to his children, focused on instilling in them the traditions of the royal family. He shared his passion for environmental conservation and history, trying to prepare them for the responsibilities that came with being heirs to the throne. However, their parenting styles were starkly different. Diana was warm, spontaneous, and always ready to embrace moments of joy and fun, while Charles was more reserved with a deep focus on duty and tradition. The divorce between Diana and Charles took a heavy toll on everyone involved, especially their sons. For Harry, the effects were particularly intense, leading him to feel abandoned and confused. Over time, he admitted that the divorce made him question what love truly meant and whether relationships could ever be as stable as he once thought. As William and Harry grew older, they began to understand the complexities of their parents' marriage. They came to recognize the challenges that Diana and Charles faced, yet they also saw that their parents' love for them was unwavering even through all the difficulties. But despite this understanding, a lingering question remained. Could the pain caused by a broken marriage and the tragic loss of their mother ever fully heal? You didn't believe she was dead for a long time. I just refused to accept that she was gone. Or would it forever leave scars in their hearts? In his reflections, Harry shared how in the last 2 years, he felt his mother's presence more than he had in the previous decades. His emotions regarding Princess Diana are raw, honest, and deeply heartfelt. Through interviews and his memoir, Spare, Harry opened up about the struggles of growing up as the son of one of the world's most beloved figures, only to lose her in such a sudden and tragic way. He spoke about the immense pressure that came with being part of the royal family and the constant scrutiny he faced in the public eye. Losing a mother is a pain that never truly fades, and for Harry, this loss became a defining moment in his life. When Princess Diana passed away in 1997, Harry was only 12 years old, too young to fully understand the gravity of the loss, but old enough to feel the deep emotional impact it would have on him. Forever, Harry has shared how his mother's death left him shaken to the core. At her funeral, he walked behind her coffin alongside his brother, William, and their father, Prince Charles. The world watched as these two young boys carried an unimaginable grief, one that no child should ever have to bear in the public eye. This moment marked a significant turning point in their lives, with the weight of their mother's death and the intense media attention shaping them in ways they could not yet comprehend. Harry later opened up about how for many years he buried his emotions so deeply that it took him a long time to confront the trauma of losing his mother. During his teenage years and early adulthood, Harry turned to unhealthy ways of coping, like drinking excessively and partying. These behaviors were his way of trying to forget the pain and escape from his grief. He admitted that he was doing everything he could to block out the sorrow, but no matter what he did, the pain didn't go away. The constant media attention surrounding the death of his mother, Diana, and the public's ongoing fascination with her legacy made it even harder for Harry to grieve in peace. The pressure of being in the royal spotlight only added to his struggles. It wasn't until much later in life that Harry made the important decision to seek therapy. He shared that his mental health struggles followed him like a shadow for years, with grief, anger, and the weight of royal life all piling up. Therapy became a crucial turning point for Harry, allowing him to begin unpacking not only his emotions about Diana's death, but also the complicated dynamics within the royal family. Harry's decision to talk openly about seeking help was groundbreaking. For someone in his position, it was a significant step, breaking away from royal norms. By doing so, he helped to normalize the conversation about mental health and encouraged others, especially those in similar situations, to prioritize their own well-being. Perhaps one of the most painful aspects of Harry's revelations was his acknowledgement of the growing divide between him and his brother, Prince William. Once inseparable, the brothers have drifted apart over the years, and Harry has expressed that Diana would have been heartbroken to see the rift between them. He has said in interviews, "Our mother brought us together, and now she would be devastated." The media has often portrayed the tension between Harry and William as a result of their differing personalities and priorities, with William remaining committed to the traditional royal path while Harry sought to carve out his own. Harry has admitted that the unresolved issues between them have only made things worse. But despite all the tension, he continues to emphasize his love for his brother. Harry also acknowledged that things didn't go swimmingly between Meghan and William and his wife, Kate Middleton, from the start. The impression is that they just theirs almost from the get-go. It's just they don't get on. Fair. Yeah, fair. Harry has described William as both his beloved brother and at times his greatest rival. This complex relationship is made even more heartbreaking by Harry's belief that much of the strain between them stems from a lack of accountability within the royal family. He feels that past hurts and betrayals have never been properly addressed, which has only led to deeper divisions over time. Although Harry has expressed hope for reconciliation, he insists that trust must be rebuilt before any true healing can happen. When it comes to Camilla, the Queen Consort, Harry's feelings are, to say the least, complicated. As the third party and his mother's marriage to Charles, a fact Diana herself acknowledged in her famous 1995 BBC interview, Camilla has always been a sensitive topic for Harry. Over the years, Harry has accused Camilla of being overly focused on her public image, sometimes at the expense of others. In his memoir, Spare, Harry claimed that Camilla leaked negative stories about him and other members of the royal family to the press in order to boost her own image. He wrote, expressing his anger and pain over these alleged actions, "She sacrificed me on her personal PR altar." Despite these strong feelings, Harry has also stated that he understands Camilla's role in his father's life, which adds further complexity to his emotions about her. Harry has never been one to hold back when it comes to speaking his mind about how certain members of the royal family handle their roles, particularly his stepmother, Camilla. He has been open in criticizing her actions, and his comments have reportedly caused a lot of tension within the royal family. His remarks, especially regarding Camilla, have not sat well with his father, now King Charles Roman III. Despite the conflict, however, Harry doesn't seem to entirely lack compassion for Camilla. He recognizes that joining the royal family under the constant media, spotlight, and public scrutiny must have been incredibly difficult for her. Nonetheless, the wounds of the past are still very much present. The pain and resentment Harry feels from past events continue to affect his relationship with the family. His recent candid reflections have once again sparked public debate over Camilla's role in the royal family and the controversies surrounding her relationship with Charles. One of the most notable aspects of Harry's recent revelations is his clear frustration with what he perceives as a lack of support and accountability within the royal family. He feels that the family as an institution has failed to stand by him and his mother in meaningful ways. Harry has been particularly vocal about his disappointment with the royal family's silence, which he believes amounts to a betrayal. He once expressed this feeling by saying silence is betrayal, reflecting his deep frustration with how the institution has handled the injustices he feels they have both suffered. In his eyes, the royal family's unwillingness to speak out or take responsibility for certain matters, particularly those involving his mother, Princess Diana, is a source of ongoing pain. In addition to his frustration with the family's silence, Harry has shared how he and his brother, Prince William, were once so dissatisfied with the official investigation into their mother's tragic death that they considered pushing for a reopening of the case. They were unhappy with the conclusion that the crash, which took Diana's life, was mainly caused by their driver being intoxicated and the relentless pursuit by paparazzi. Harry and William believed there were unanswered questions, and the official narrative didn't fully address the complexities or the responsibilities of those involved. This dissatisfaction with the royal family's stance on such issues only further reflects the ongoing tension and unresolved feelings that Harry carries with him. Harry has always wondered why the people who chased his mother's car, which led to the tragic accident, were never held responsible. He claims they were discouraged from pursuing justice, a feeling that left him powerless. This sense of being silenced has followed him into other parts of his life, especially when it comes to stepping away from royal duties. In interviews and his memoir, Harry has opened up about how unsupported he felt by the royal family, particularly when facing media attacks and personal struggles. "No one protected us, no one stood up for us," he said, expressing the pain of being left to fight his battles alone. His choice to speak out, even if it risks alienating his family, comes from a deep desire to break the silence and demand accountability from the royal institution for its past failures. If you want to stay updated on this ongoing story, don't forget to connect with us. The drama is far from over, and you won't want to miss what happens next.